Every day, millions of people wake up trapped in invisible prisons built entirely in their own minds. Fear holds the keys, doubt guards the door, and while the world outside moves forward, many remain still, held back by worries that never truly existed. What if the greatest threat to your progress was never what's happening around you, but what's echoing inside you? This message is for those ready to break that mental cage. For those tired of letting imaginary fears dictate real outcomes. Today, we'll strip fear of its disguise, silence the noise of negativity, and rebuild your thoughts into something unstoppable. Because when your mind is trained for strength, your reality follows that same rhythm. Stay with me through this message. It could be the spark that reawakens your purpose and reshapes how you see everything from this day forward. We create illusions that feel like truth, false evidence that becomes real only because we feed it. Fear grows when we nurture it with attention. That's why one great leader once said, "There's nothing to fear but fear itself." It's a shadow that pretends to be a monster. To rise above it, you must shut off the noise that fuels it. Refuse to listen to constant negativity and distance yourself from voices that echo defeat, because those voices belong to people who have surrendered to the mindset of the world. Begin your transformation intentionally. Attend growth events, personal development sessions, or listen to empowering messages daily. Repetition builds belief. Faith grows stronger through hearing truth again and again. Surround yourself with words that inspire, ideas that strengthen your vision, and lessons that awaken the champion inside you. When you do this, you'll begin to create a new mental pattern, a new life shaped by higher thinking. You might stand out at first. When everyone else complains, your confidence will seem strange. When you greet the day with energy, people may look at you as if something's off. But stay consistent. Smile, even when others don't. Your joy will confuse those trapped in routine misery. Notice how many faces carry tension every Monday morning. Eyes tired, hearts heavy, spirits numb. They haven't connected with their true purpose yet. That emptiness becomes frustration, and frustration spreads negativity. People in pain often try to transfer that pain to others. Don't receive it. Protect your energy. Feed your mind with power. Read books that build your spirit. Watch teachings that challenge your limits. Keep a journal nearby. Your thoughts are seeds, and writing them down allows them to grow. Each morning or night, capture what's moving within you. Great thinkers keep records because life whispers ideas that can change everything. Sometimes only a few insights a year have the power to redirect your destiny. But if you don't write them down, they fade away. When you fail to recognize your value, fear quietly takes control. It convinces you that you aren't enough, and soon, you begin working against yourself. You start missing opportunities, doubting your potential, and holding yourself back without realizing it. The result is self-sabotage, destroying what you're meant to build. You become your own obstacle, your own critic, your own limitation. So how do you change that? Well, you begin to recognize that your vision and your talents carry a depth of meaning and worth so powerful that they awaken a hunger within you, one strong enough to move you beyond fear. That inner longing to live out your purpose creates a drive that refuses to quit. As you continue working on yourself, you start to uncover your real identity, the power that's been waiting inside you all along. You begin to understand the strength you possess to create transformation, the extraordinary potential that can turn ordinary effort into something miraculous once you commit fully to your path. It brings to mind a story of a researcher who once traveled to study a remote tribe in Africa known for its fierce reputation. At first, he couldn't build trust with them because fear controlled him, fear they might harm him. For a long time, he made no real progress, but one night, lying awake, he questioned himself deeply. Why did you come here? What is your mission? His answer was clear: to understand and learn from these people. Then he asked himself, what's the worst that could happen? Death? And in that moment, he decided, if that's the price, then so be it. I will fulfill my purpose regardless of the risk. The next morning, he returned to his work with a new sense of courage. He approached the tribesmen with honesty and determination, and slowly they opened their hearts to him. They welcomed him, shared their world, and years later, when others came to study his results, they were amazed by his success. When asked how he achieved it, his reply held a timeless truth. Once life can no longer frighten you with death, then nothing else can truly threaten you. Most of the fears we face aren't life or death situations, but our imagination amplifies them, exaggerating their power until they seem larger than they are. We let those fears control our choices, shape our potential, and set invisible limits on how far we'll go in pursuit of our dreams. Yet when you pause to look closely and ask yourself honestly, what's the worst that can happen? You realize that most of what you fear cannot destroy you. It only delays your growth. Will I make it through this? Why am I facing all these changes because of this situation? How much control does it really have? And could it be that I'm the one giving it strength? You see, so often we allow ourselves to be conditioned, shaped, and filled with fear. You turn on the news, open a newspaper, and suddenly the world looks too dangerous to step outside. Am I right? You'd start to think the safest place is behind closed doors. So the real question is, what are you feeding your mind? What kind of thoughts are you allowing to take root in your consciousness? Because those thoughts are either pushing you forward or helping you justify why you're still standing still. I remember when I worked as a door-to-door salesman, I had a certain number of televisions I needed to sell each day just to make ends meet. My mother was ill back then. Arthritis had forced her to leave her job at the cafeteria, and I promised myself that I'd do whatever it took to keep things going. So I hit the streets, knocking on doors hour after hour. Some nights I wouldn't return home until after 1 in the morning. Knock, knock. Who's there? Good evening. Would you like a brand new television? Great quality, no money down? No, thank you. All right, thank you kindly. Do you know anyone else who might be interested? No. Then off to the next house. Hello. Would you be interested in a nice television set? Affordable, easy payments? No, please move along. Thank you very kindly. Do you know anyone who might be looking for one? Yeah, maybe my cousin, 2 doors down. Thank you kindly. I'll tell him you sent me. So, I'd go to the cousin's house. Your cousin mentioned you might be interested in a great television. I've got a special deal for you. Oh, really? Come on in. I'd like to hear about it. And that's how I kept going. I wouldn't quit until I met my goal. I made a decision. No matter how long it took, I'd keep knocking. It's fascinating. When you make a firm decision and commit to it, something shifts inside you. You enter a different state of being. The universe begins to align itself with your determination. When a person reaches the point where quitting is no longer an option, everything around them begins to move in their favor. The energy of commitment attracts opportunities. The world responds to the one who refuses to give up because that level of certainty is a language the universe understands. That vision you carry, the business you long to build, the book that burns within you, the dream of directing your own path that belongs to you, the strength to bring it to life, to turn it into reality, is already within your reach. But you must be prepared to stand tall through disappointment, to keep moving when support disappears, to walk through seasons of loneliness. You may question yourself at times. You may face rejection repeatedly. You may lose everything and start again more than once. Yet you must refuse to back down until life itself surrenders to your determination. Nothing can withstand the will of a person who possesses unwavering resolve. The ones who left a mark on history carried that same fire. When a leader declared, "We will reach the moon within this decade," it wasn't a mere statement, it was a vow. That commitment ignited belief and others united around it. Throughout history, countless souls have spoken words that reshaped reality because they chose to commit their lives to a cause greater than themselves. Some stood against hunger and injustice. Others fought diseases that once ravaged humanity. Someone, somewhere, decided that the world would no longer suffer, and they gave their all to make it so. The freedoms we experience today exist because someone stood firm, willing to pay the ultimate price. They declared, "Here I stand, I can do no other." That is the spirit of commitment. To commit is to rise in defense of your own life. It is to respect your worth, to recognize your connection with creation itself, to understand that you are a vessel through which life desires to move. Yet too often we block that flow with anger, fear, envy, or idleness. We shut it down with hesitation and self-doubt. We tell ourselves it's too difficult, and in doing so, we silence the very power within us. But there is nothing on this earth more extraordinary, more unstoppable than the human spirit. You can twist it, you can try to suppress it, but you can't destroy the human spirit. I've been reading Man's Search for Meaning again, one of the most profound works ever written on endurance and inner power. Each time I revisit it, the message hits deeper. The strength of the human spirit cannot be broken. So what fuels that kind of inner strength? What gives us the courage to move forward, to honor our commitments, and to shape our destiny? First, commitment sometimes requires you to start over. It might mean going back to school, sitting in classrooms surrounded by people much younger than you, or stepping into situations that feel unfamiliar and uncomfortable. You might not know the answers. You might even feel out of place. But when your goal is growth, when you're determined to earn that diploma, complete that training, or finish that degree, none of that matters. You might find yourself thinking, why am I doing this? Sitting in a class that feels dull or tedious. But commitment isn't always exciting. Sometimes it means retreating for a moment, not to surrender, but to reorganize, to catch your breath, to rebuild, and then rise again after life has knocked you down. And through it all, you must begin to trust yourself. Truly listen to your own intuition, that quiet inner voice that whispers direction when logic cannot explain the way forward. Not everything in life fits into neat reasoning or predictable outcomes. Some things you simply have to feel are right. When you trust that inner pull, everything begins to shift. Life opens in new ways because now, instead of being pushed, you are led. I'll never forget the worst speech I ever gave. For years, I struggled with the belief that I wasn't educated enough, that I wasn't good enough to stand on certain stages. Someone I admired saw that insecurity and said, "Let me write your speech for you." They told me, "You're going to speak at a major university. The audience there is very educated. They'll notice every grammatical flaw, every weak point in your delivery. I don't want you to embarrass yourself." I listened. I handed over my voice. I allowed that fear to silence what was meant to come from me. That person's doubt became louder than my confidence. Their opinion became stronger than my own belief. And in that moment, I gave away my power, willingly. And I stood there on that stage, inside that large hall, holding my notes tightly in my hands. I read my entire speech word for word, never looking away from the page, afraid that if I did, I might lose my place or my courage. My voice trembled, but I kept going. And when I finally finished, something unexpected happened. People stood up and applauded. They could see the effort, the tension, the nerves, and the heart I put into every word. Ladies and gentlemen, never surrender your power. You don't need anyone to validate your dream. That vision was placed within you for a reason. If others can't see it, that's because it wasn't meant for them. It was meant for you. Protect it, feed it, shape it, build upon it. It belongs to you. It's your creation. Keep working on it until it becomes reality. I once handed away my own strength, but I decided that day I would never do it again. Now, let me say this to those pressing toward greatness today. Always do what's right. Treat others the way you would want to be treated. Avoid shortcuts. Don't try to cheat your way ahead. Pay the price honestly and pay it in full. Because I believe, my friends, that what we send out always comes back. You can pay now or you can pay double later. So choose to walk with integrity. There will be moments when temptation whispers, when that old voice of compromise creeps in saying, "It's fine, just this once, no one will know." But remember this, everything matters. Every choice shapes who you are becoming. I'd rather lose a dream doing the right thing than reach success by stepping out of integrity. I want to be able to stand before the mirror and respect the person looking back at me. That's what truly matters. There's a saying, don't measure a person by what they must do, but by what they choose to do when no one is watching. Character shows in the unseen moments. There's something good out there waiting for you, designed only for you. No one can take what's meant for your life. It carries your name. It's part of your destiny. So when you understand that truth, when you truly believe that what you're searching for is also searching for you, you stop worrying. You stop fearing someone will steal your place. You learn to trust that inner voice. You stay calm. You stay faithful, and you always choose the higher path. There will always be moments when taking the easy path feels tempting, but you must rise above that urge. Choose the higher road, even when it's harder. Here's something else I encourage you to remember if you truly want to succeed. Honor your word. Keep the promises you make, both to yourself and to others. Build a circle of reliable people, those who stand by their commitments, who lift you up, and who stay true when times get rough. Surround yourself with individuals who can be counted on, and make sure you're someone they can rely on too. And as you continue working toward your vision, you'll notice something. People might say, "You're lucky." They'll see the outcome, not the struggle. But luck isn't what builds greatness. Here's what truly matters. 3 powerful principles that guide every dreamer. Be patient, persistent, and positive, no matter what comes your way. Remember this, greatness isn't born overnight. It's shaped in the quiet moments when no one is watching, through choices that test your strength and reveal your character. Every promise you keep, every challenge you face with patience, persistence, and positivity becomes another step toward the life you were meant to live. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Start now. Keep moving even when it feels uncomfortable, because progress is made by those who refuse to quit. If you're watching this today, take it as a sign. Stay committed to your path. Believe that your consistency will create miracles over time. Keep your faith strong, your heart focused, and your energy aligned with purpose. Your breakthrough is already in motion. If this message spoke to you, share it forward. Someone else needs this reminder today. And remember, your journey isn't over. It's just beginning.